What I've done is I've laid out our top mattress enclosure, and what we have here is the top pillow top that then is zipped to the lower portion of the enclosure. The lower portion of the enclosure is where we're going to set up our power edge or our interlocking bolsters and the rest of our air sleep system. When removing the pillow top from the lower half of the enclosure, you want to go ahead and lift up this flap to access the zipper, and then just go ahead and unzip the top. Now that we have completely unzipped the pillow top from the lower portion of the enclosure, we can go ahead and completely remove it from the assembly so that we can continue and proceed with our air sleep system setup. Now, before we proceed with our interlocking foam bolsters, we want to go ahead and just highlight the holes for the air hoses. Those go at the head of the bed, and those are on the lower half of the enclosure, and they are also prefabricated in your interlocking foam rail. To install your power edge support or your interlocking foam rail, you're going to go ahead and do the head to foot piece first. The head and foot you'll know because you have the sticker that indicates that it's a head rail. You also will have your holes that go and allow for your air hoses to feed through the back of the head rail assembly. In between the head and the foot, you have your memory weave material. Now that we've roughly positioned our head to foot rail in the bed, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to install our side to side rail. By doing so, we're going to start to have what looks like a queen size mattress. Ensuring you've laid out the memory weave material that is in between the rails is very important to your setup. Improper installation of this memory weave when laying it out will cause you to have not enough material to go from edge to edge of the bed. Your foam bolster or your interlocking foam rail should actually extend out with the memory weave such as this versus your memory weave wrapping under and folding around your rail. This will cause you to have an insufficient amount of material in between foam rail to foam rail, and your sleep system will not fit together properly. You can see here I have no excess folding, and the memory weave jets out from the interlocking foam rail. That is the proper installation of your power edge support. Now I'm going to move to the left side rail and actually position it into the bed and complete our outer edge power support of the mattress. We've made sure to match the side rail dot to the head rail dot in our installation. Doing so provides proper perimeter support for the air sleep system. Now we're ready for our air chambers. In putting in our air chambers, we're going to go ahead and unbag it. And a very important part of the process is we're going to make sure that this brass ferrule is actually at the bottom of the air chamber, pointed towards the hard solid surface of the foundation. Now what I'm going to do is start to lay the air chamber in its position that it will reside in. You'll notice that we have the brass fitting at the bottom of the air chamber. The top of the air chamber, after folding it back, the top of the air chamber has no hose assembly. That is located at the bottom side of the air chamber. This is your brass ferrule. You'll notice your steel embedded hydraulic kink-free hose and your twist and lock or your pressure valve at the end of your hose. We're going to feed that through the hole at the base of the rail and the hole in the cover, coming out through the back and waiting for the connection to the pump. Once we've put the hose through the back of the bed, now we can slide that ferrule, making it disappear under the rail and smooth out our air chamber head to foot. That's going to allow for proper inflation of the air chamber. We're ready to begin the pump installation for the air sleep system. one thing that is very vital to proper pump operation is a surge protector. So we've got our surge protector here. We're ready to go with it. We're going to plug it into the wall. Your pump may not have digital numbers, but it will operate many of the same functions being demonstrated here today. Now we're going to go ahead and unpackage the pump. If it has been extremely hot outside or extremely cold outside when you took delivery of your system, make sure it's had time to acclimate to room temperature. If it hasn't, go ahead and wait a little bit while longer. Let it acclimate to room temperature. This is our digital ultra pump, so we've got two controls. Now that we've properly unpackaged the pump, we're going to go ahead and point the pump with the ports, you'll see the ports, towards the wall. Having it this way is going to cause your air hoses for your right side to be connected to the left side of the pump and vice versa. So it's much easier if we go ahead and point the pump ports at the wall. We're going to go ahead and plug it into our surge protector. Now we're ready to install our hose to our pump. We have our twist and lock design. In doing so, I want to go ahead and twist clockwise one rotation on the hose, creating some tension, allowing it to make sure it locks on. I'm going to slide it onto the nipple, and I'm going to go ahead and let it turn back just a little bit counterclockwise, locking into place. Now we know we have a secure connection to the pump. On your pump, you have two ports, one for the left control, one for the right control. We're going to go ahead and just simply, like a telephone, plug the control into the port, locking it into place. When you do so, you'll hear a slight clicking sound. That's when you know you are lit up and ready to go. You'll notice that we do have proper lighting on our control system, and if we press a button, we will see our LED indication that the system is registering the control to the pump. On the digital ultra pump, we have a firm, a soft button. We have the bed fill, and we have the memory. The bed fill button will inflate the mattress to full, or to 50. The memory button will allow you to customize your own number and have the system remember it. So when you press that button, it'll automatically go to your favorite setting that you have pre-programmed into the remote. To set memory, you have two functions to do it. One is to set the system at the proper inflation level that you like. For my example, I'll use the number 25. You'll take the system to number 25, then you'll go ahead and you'll press and hold the memory until this LED red light indicator blinks twice. Then the number will blink at 25 and you'll know it's set into the pump. The other way that you can set the memory on the digital ultra inflator is to actually take the system, press memory one time, that'll show you what the memory is currently set at, and then rapidly press soft. That'll start to show you 50, 49, 48, 47, 46 as you're counting down. Now you can stop at 25, go ahead and press and hold memory. It'll set 25 as your memory, and it's going to start to inflate. Now that we've got both hoses connected to both sides of the pump, both ports are ready to go, we can now go ahead and grab one of our controls. In this case, I'm going to use the right side. We're going to go ahead and press the bed fill button on the digital ultra inflator, and our system is going to begin to inflate the right side of the air system. We're preparing to connect our Sherlock fitting to our Adjuster S Super Quiet pump. In doing so, very simple, you align the fitting with the nozzle on the pump or the port and rotate. Now it is locked into place and not going to come loose. Now that we've connected the Sherlock fitting to the port on the pump, we can now go ahead and inflate the air chamber. Doing so, we press and hold bed fill, and now we will start to inflate our air chamber. Now that both air chambers are connected to the pump and fully inflated on each side, we're ready to go ahead and install our anatomic comfort layer. Now that we've unwrapped the anatomic comfort layer from its tightly packaged roll and given it a few minutes to actually take on some air and come to shape, you can see it nicely fits in the shell. We want to go ahead and make sure that it sits in the rail or the power edge support. It's designed to be right up to that rail all the way around. Now that we've completed adding the anatomic comfort layer to the sleep system, we're ready to go ahead and install the pillow top. Simply lay it on the bed, line it up, and ensure that it's laying on the rest of the enclosure and sleep system properly. Now we're going to go do something as simply as zip up the bed. We're going to finish zipping the bed. We're going to go ahead and bring down our flap. And that completes the assembly and installation of our digital air sleep system.